Today we're going to be looking at a specialized bowline knot. This one is called the EBSB, and it stands for End Bound Single Bowline. Now this particular knot comes out of the climbing world to make a bowline that is a lot more secure than the standard bowline. So the problem with the standard bowline for rock climbing applications is the fact that in newer synthetic line, when subjected to variant load, this knot can very easily work itself free. So we can tighten this up, but we can still make that rattle free if we have a situation where we have variant load on it. Now, in the rock climbing world, from what I understand, the most secure knot that you can work with for a loop knot is going to be the figure 8 loop. This is the most secure, probably, of all the knots when it comes to forming a fixed loop knot. But the problem with this one is that in rock climbing applications, especially if this is subjected to a lot of shock load or variant shock load or just a single hard shock load that you might get in climbing applications from falls or just regular, scenarios in the rock climbing world where it's just multiple times that you're hitting variant load on it. This particular knot can lock down so tight that you cannot get it undone, and you pretty much have to cut it off in order to get it free. Hence the reason why there are so many bowline variants, or why people have come up with different bowline variants to get the ability to have a knot that is going to come undone. And that is one of the hallmarks of the bowline knot, is the fact that it comes undone very easily because it includes the locking collar here that can be broken back to help initiate to loosen the knot and then get it undone. But we need to have variants that get rid of the ability so that this one won't rattle free under variant load. And this is one of the very best variants that they've come up with. So let me show you how to tie the inbound single bowline. Now for this particular variant, we're going to need a really long tail on here. So we're going to come up the line a little further than what we normally would. In my case, I'm coming up about 2 feet or maybe just a little bit more. And we're going to start by turning our nipping loop. Think of that like you turn the ignition on your car, and that forms that loop. Now we can take the working end. We'll pass up through that nipping loop, go around the standing end, send it right back down the loop, and then we can pull this apart. Not too much. We don't want to set this just yet, and this is going to form the standard bowline with an extra long tail. Now what we can do is we're going to take the working end, we're going to send it down, and we're going to pull it out a little bit. And as we do, you'll notice that inside the nipping loop, these two lines kind of separate a little bit. So now we just want to wrap around, and we're going to dive right back down through with our working end and send it through. Now this is going to form another loop here. What we want to do at this point is this loop, we want to kind of fold it up so that it rests right underneath of the locking loop there. That way we have two loops that are right together. Now basically what we'll do is we'll finish this out like you would the Yosemite bowline, where we're going to come around and then we're going to trail right out to take this out parallel with our standing end. So we'll just slip it right through those two loops. In fact, let me turn this over so you can get a little better view of it. So we'll go around and then we're going to send it right parallel with the standing end of the rope, and then we can begin to tighten this one up. Now this is the only issue with the EBSB, is the fact that it takes a little bit more to dress it up. You just have to take your time to dress it up properly. But once you do, this forms one of the most secure variants of the bowline that I've ever seen. It is incredibly reliable, just will not rattle free under any circumstances that I've put it through. Of course, I haven't done some of the extensive testing that you'll find from climbers and climber associations, but they've tested this one pretty extensively, and the people that rave on this one are really knowledgeable in the climbing world, and they claim this is one of the better ones. They have several different variants, but this one is one that they really, really like, and it's not hard to understand why. So the benefit to this one is that you get 3 traps of the working end through the nipping loop, and so that's just makes it all that more secure. And the way that it's formed, the way it ends, much like the Yosemite finish, is that it keeps the working end of the rope out of the center of the loop, which can be beneficial in its own right. So this is the EBSB, or the inbound single bowline.